Let's start things off. Arsenal still top of the table against the cellar dwellers, a team that's simply incapable of anything right now in Southampton. First versus worst at this time of year can generally lead to bad things for the worst, especially when you're playing away from home at the side that's leading in the Premier League and a side that's desperate for a full 3 points. Arsenal 2-2 draws in back-to-back weeks at Liverpool, at West Ham, up 2-0 in both those fixtures. In the game on the weekend, 2.09 to 2.58 in terms of the XG. Similar themes. Arsenal giving up a lot of chances. Jesus, however, has scored in 3 straight games. William Saliba has been a big miss for this team. It just doesn't look right with Rob Holding coming in. Just simply not the solution. On the plus side for Arsenal, they haven't lost in their last 4. No clean sheets in their last 5. They played to the over 2.5 in 8 of their last 9. Both teams have scored in each and every one of their last 5 games. They have been the first team to score in their last 7 games, and they've been the first half winner in their last 6. Arsenal have won their last 4 at home, scoring 3 or more goals in every one of those games. Southampton coming off a 2-0 loss to Crystal Palace and just a 0.8 XG in what was a must-win game. 3 straight league losses and no wins in their last 6 for the Saints. No clean sheet in their last 5. They played to the under 2.5 in 5 of 7 and have been the first to concede in their last 5. They still have to play Newcastle, Brighton, and Liverpool, in addition to Arsenal in their last 7 games. That's enough to just tell you that they will be relegated. 5 other teams have fewer than Southampton's 13 away points. It's been their home form that's been the biggest issue. And 4 away wins is actually more than Brentford, and the same amount of away wins on the season than Liverpool and Chelsea. That's just an incredible statistic for me. Head-to-head, they played to a 1-1 draw with Arsenal at St. Mary's earlier this season. Just wild stuff. 0.65 to a 1.65 XG in that game. And in this matchup between Arsenal and Southampton, they played to under 2.5 in 5 of 7. Now, the spread in this game is set for 2. And you can get Arsenal at the -2 goals, so they have to win by 2 or more, at -107. If they win by 2 exactly, it's a refund. The spread in this game, -528 for an Arsenal win, +653 for a draw, +1501 for a Southampton win. So the numbers, they're big to look at, and they maybe complicate things to a certain degree. So where do you go with this, Jay? Because clearly Arsenal, the vastly superior side, but is there a number? Is there a play on the board that has caught your eye?
Well, I had 2 plays in mind. One being, well, the first one that initially was just Arsenal to win to 0, which is at -113. I think I've said weeks and weeks and weeks now that Southampton's attacking process since Ruben Selles took charge has been horrendous. I mean, if you exclude the one-off against Spurs where they racked up 2.5 XG, they've averaged just 0.7 expected goals for per game across his matches, and that drops to 0.6 when playing away from home. And they've scored just once in 4 away trips. So initially, just anti-Southampton goals was the way I was going to play it. But then if you look at Arsenal's home form, they actually concede a lot when they play at home. They win a lot, but they also concede a lot. Leeds scored there, Palace scored there, Bournemouth scored twice. Obviously, City scored 3, Brentford scored there, United scored twice, West Ham scored there. So you've seen a theme that teams that go to the Emirates actually do get on the score sheet. So initially, that was my thinking, but I dismissed that because of that reason. And obviously, we've touched on it recently, Arsenal's defensive issues. They've definitely appeared much weaker since William Saliba's been out injured. So instead, I wanted to take Arsenal on the handicap. It's set at -2 the line, but I'm quite happy to take -1 3/4 at a shorter price. It's -140 for Arsenal, -1 3/4. So that basically means you get half a bet on Arsenal -1.5. So if they win by 2 goals, you get a winner at half win. If they win by 3 or more goals, you get a full win. So that's the play I'm going to make here. I just think that there's a massive gulf between the sides. I don't think Southampton are going to score, but I'm not that confident to pull the trigger on Arsenal win to 0. And if you look at Arsenal in bottom against the bottom 9 sides at the Emirates, they've won 7 of 7. They've covered the -1.5 handicap in 6 matches of those 7, and they've won by 3 or more in 4 of those 7. So this generally is a bet that does go very close when they're playing against the worst teams in the league. And the process at home is just fantastic. 2.5 expected goals for per game, 1.0 expected goals against per game. So utterly dominant. I expect the same, and I think it could be quite a convincing victory. So starting with Arsenal on the handicap.
I like the play. I have a little bit of a different play. The first half hasn't been a problem for Arsenal. They've come out like a house on fire, scoring early goals. So let's make a first half play. Arsenal with the handicap in the first half. I'm going to move it to -1 at +123. So if they're up a goal at halftime, it's a push. If they're up by more than a goal at through the first half, which they have been in recent weeks, you win your bet at a good plus number at +123. I said it. They went up 2-0 early in the first half against both Liverpool and West Ham in their last 2 games. They've been the first to score in their last 7 games, and they've been the first half winner in their last 6 games. Southampton have been dreadful, but they've been the first to concede in their last 5 games. So in terms of those trends, the way that these two teams play, what this game means, where the game's being played, all of it skews in Arsenal's favor. And for them to come out and have a statement start to this game after the little bit of a wobble with the City game in the not so distant future, I think that that's the best play on the board I could find. Arsenal first half -1 at +123. So I'm going to lock that in, a full play.
Yeah, they've started quick recently, haven't they, Arsenal? I think that bet that you've just quoted there, it's won in 3 of the last 7 and pushed in 3. So it's only lost once of the last 7 matches. So just to put some more perspective there, that they do start very fast. And yeah, hopefully for my sake, they can hold on to the lead this time.
Yes, no kidding. That game's going to be played on Friday night. So some Friday night football on your weekend schedule.